Hi guys, welcome back to the craft room. So for today's project, we are going to need some glue, a pair of scissors, a pencil, some things to make circles with, 4 colors of cardstock, and a piece of just scrap paper that we can use to make some templates. So we're going to start with our scrap piece of paper. I just have a piece of green printer paper here. It's a half sheet of 8.5 by 11. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by folding it along the long edge. So we're going to put a fold right in the middle here. And this is to make our large heart for the middle of our card. To do this, there's a bit of a trick to make a really nice circle. So I'm going to start by showing you guys that trick. I've gone ahead and made this darker with a Sharpie so that you guys can see it a little bit better. The next thing we're going to do is divide our circle into 4 pieces. So what we're going to do is, usually you use your pencil for this. I'm going to do it in marker so you can see better. We're going to imagine that there's a bit of a line like this and a bit of a line like this. You can go ahead and draw that in with your pencil. Then what you're going to do is you're going to use a straight edge of something. You can use a piece of your cardstock. And you're going to see that there's a kind of a line that goes from here to here. And now what we're going to do is make a parallel line outside. Parallel means that they run side by side together. So we're going to make a parallel line outside of our heart that catches the edge and comes right to the corner of our paper. So we're going to go like this, and it's going to be parallel to this line here. And that is the outline of our heart. You can see it comes up and around and out and down to the corner. And this will help you create a really nice heart shape. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out so you guys can see what that will look like. So you can see there's our folded edge with our little outline on there, and that makes us a really, really nice heart. So we're going to use this template now to make the background heart for our project. In this case, I used white. So what you're going to do is take your template and place it on your cardstock, so that 1, you don't waste as much paper as possible, and 2, that it's easy to cut. And you're just going to trace this out in pencil and then cut it out, okay? The next thing we're going to do is cut out a bunch of squares out of our paper in our cardstocks. So I've done 2 inches, I've done 1 inch ones, I've done 1.5 inch ones, all the way down to itty bitty 1/2 inch ones. Just make a whole bunch of these different squares in multiples of 4, 6, 5s. It doesn't really matter. You do need a number of them. I would suggest doing more of the smaller ones and less of the bigger ones. You can see in the original one that I did, I have 4 of these big, like, I think they're 1.5 or 2 inch hearts. These ones are the 1 inch ones. I have then got a few of these smaller ones that might be 1 inch ones. This one I think is 1.5 inch. And then a whole bunch of these tiny little ones to fill in. Once you have your squares cut, you're going to fold them along the diagonal, like so, okay? And you're going to use your template that you made, and you can trace this on with a pencil and then cut these out. That way you get a whole bunch that are exactly the same, okay? So we're going to go ahead and trace this guy in pencil and then cut it out and then add it to our pile. So here's a sneaky tip. This is the one I just cut out. You can see that's the little hole that I have left over. There's a tiny piece of cardstock here at the edge that, if you're really good, you might be able to get a tiny little heart out of. with stuff this small, I would suggest just sort of freestyle it if you can. So there we go. I got a super tiny one, and these are good for just filling in the middle where you find you have little holes that you're just like, it needs something extra. Now that we have all of our hearts cut out, we are going to fold them in half. It's okay if they pop open a little bit. And we're going to arrange them onto our larger heart in a flower shape. You want to make sure the open sides are all facing the same way. You kind of put the points together, and you leave a little bit of space between each petal. So they'll go onto your heart something like that. So as with so many of our projects, the less glue we use, the better. We do not want to have a gloppy, sloppy mess that takes forever to dry and makes our paper all wiggly and mushy. So what you're going to do is decide, I would suggest placing your pieces onto your large heart. Make sure you're happy with it. And then what you can do is, if you decide this is where you want to have your circle, take your pencil, put a tiny little dot on the white paper underneath, then move your pieces off. Then what you can do is take your heart, remembering the orientation that you wanted it in, put a tiny, tiny bit of glue on the back and place it so that the point is right on that little dot of pencil, and then put all your pieces around. Now when I say a tiny, tiny bit of glue, I mean a tiny, tiny bit of glue. It does not take a lot. You do not have to cover the whole thing. Literally, that is more than enough glue. I could probably even stick 2 pieces down with all that glue. That's all you need on there. So then you're going to find your spot and place your little petal onto your heart where you like it. If you like, you can place some along the edge like I did here. If you get to the edge here and you're like, I can't fill this in, place them on, glue them down, and then cut around the edge to take off the extra pieces. And it's okay if, like this one opens, you know, and I cut the bottom of it off to make it fit. This piece is just the bottom side. So just make sure when you're gluing that you catch the edge of the glue. So this one I could put on something like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to cut that little piece off so that you no longer see it. The last thing you can do to make your project a little bit extra special is, if you have any little gems, you can stick them onto the middle of some of your flowers. Just gives it a little bit of sparkle. You can use different sizes and different colors. It's up to you. If you don't have any of this, you could also make little circle centers of your own, just with a hole punch and a piece of paper in one of your complementary cardstock colors. What I mean by that is, if you're doing the purple flower, I would cut out a yellow circle to put in the middle, and vice versa. If I'm doing a yellow flower, I would put a purple circle in the middle. And that'll just help you finish it off and make it look really, really pretty. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.